Hi, it's Sandy Parker, and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. Oh, gee, I forgot to put my sign up. Next time I'll remember it. I'm going to be doing a resist today with some watercolors. I thought it'd be really fun to play around with them, and so this is what we're going to be doing first, and that takes... I tried it with a bunch of different things. I tried watercolor markers. I like those, but it was a lot more work than I wanted to do. And then I had better results with distress inks. There's a distress ink, and here's, I'll show you another thing. There's a marker versus the distress ink. So you can see the marker left some splotches and stuff because I was trying to rub too hard to get the ink out. That was my mistake. But anyway, I learned a lot from doing this. So I'm going to be using this Fabriano hot press paper. It's a watercolor paper that you can get at any craft store. Don't I look adorable? Look at that. Pretty. This is not a clean technique. So for those of you who worry about having dirty hands, this is not the process for you. You're not going to like it. I'm going to try a variety on this one. I think I'm going to go with these. That's Shaded Lilac, Salty Ocean, Wilted Violet, and Blueprint Sketch. And I'm going to start with Blueprint Sketch, and I'm just going to rub it on the bottom. And I'm trying to use the side that isn't really textured. So if you flip your paper over, you'll be able to figure that out. That was Blueprint Sketch, and this is Wilted Violet. This ought to be really pretty when it's done. And then the next one, I'm going to do Salty Ocean, and I'm going to try not to get right onto that purple because the purple will go into your ink pad and kind of contaminate it. But you can just kind of rub off the edges if you think that you got any of the purple on it, but I don't think I did. You can see I kind of missed that line. I need to go a little bit further up. There we go. And then my last one is going to be Shaded Lilac. It's a light purple. So I'm just going purple, blue. And then after I'm done with inking, the next stage is get your water brush. And I have a big water brush that's got a big flat head on it. And I like this for this technique because it doesn't take me that long to smear the ink around. You know me, smear is a good word for what I would do. I wet it with my water, my spray bottle, and then I'm just going back and forth with this. Now distress inks react with water, so they're going to do a lot better job of filling in and basically cleaning up the boo-boos that I make. Somebody overseas did not know what the word boo-boo meant, and boo-boo in the United States means you made a mistake on something. So I'm sorry I've used a term that some people didn't know, but I'm glad that now everybody does know what it means. Because I find now that I use that a lot. Didn't realize I used it a lot. But now that I listen to my videos, I'm like, I said boo-boo again. Okay. I'll try to remember to say something else. Mistake. I made a big mistake. Okay. That's it. I also say okay a lot in videos. I realized that recently too. Rich cuts out as many of those as he possibly can, because I say it at the beginning of almost every segment. Now, we'll let these dry. They have to be really super dry before we go on to the next step. The stamp set I'm using is called Peony Bouquet, and I'm going to use this big outline of a peony. I'm going to put it right in the corner, and then I'm going to put the outline of a bud on this side. Okay, I'm going to just stamp those right now, and then I'm going to stamp some other things in a second. I'm going to be using my VersaFine Onyx Black to stamp this with, but first I need to rub this over here. I'm pretty sure that it's completely dry, but if it's not, we're going to know in a second because this embossing powder, or the embossing powder is going to stick to everything. I'm lining my Misty, I don't know if you can see this, but I'm lining this up with the second grid up and the second grid in. And I'm doing that because I want to make sure I know exactly where everything is in my stamped image, and I'm going to use, as I said, the VersaFine Onyx Black. I don't usually stamp right-handed, but this time I am. Okay. My friend Terry, I'm sending her a card, and she said her favorite color was blue, and so I said, okay, I can make a blue card. Okay, so that's where we stand with our stamping. Now what we need to do is get a piece of scrap paper or two. Looks like I have a couple here. This is from when Rich was printing out the best buttercream frosting ever, and it printed out 88 pages of comments. Isn't that funny? So I have a lot of scrap paper. We didn't realize it until 88 pages later when we realized we had a great job with printing. Nice job there. We did. I'm just going to make sure I coat my entire image there. I have a little stem on that corner. Now, you'll know if you didn't do a good job of making sure it was dry because you'd have that powder everywhere here. And I only have it attached to my design, which is what I needed, except for a little spot right there. Okay, I'm going to put this back in my bowl, and then we're just going to heat the tool up again. And this is a layered stamp set. I made the masks so that I'd be able to lay the leaves in so the flowers and the leaves would look like they're a cohesive one piece instead of being real choppy. And so I'm going to ink these up. And hopefully get some good images there. There we go. Finally. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to move our masks. I got that little bit, I don't know, that didn't do as well as I would have liked it to have done, but we're going to have to go back in with our embossing powder. That looks good. And heat them up. And then we're on to moving around and stamping some more. I'm probably not going to make you sit through me stamping all of these the first time. I'm going to stamp a few more things. Let me stamp some things and then I'll come back and we'll go from there. So at this point, I've got everything inked in, and I used the set from Essentials by Ellen. I think it's just called Sparkle. Make sure I get that right. Spread the Sparkle, and I used Spread the Sparkle. I had to cut apart Spread and the in order to make it fit, and then Sparkle I heat embossed that as well. Next step is to find some markers that match and that will show up over this. I might have to, instead of doing markers, I might be coloring with my Distress Oxides instead. We'll give that a shot and see if that works. Might not. I don't know. We're going to try. We'll wait and see. I'll be back. I decided I was going to color with my alcohol markers. I used a little stripe of one of them right there, and it worked fine. So we're going to go in and color with these. And then I'm going to color, I'm just going to color a couple petals at a time so that I can get some of these darker images in and blend them all out. other flowers, the buds and the leaves, I'm going to go with, in the leaves, I'm going with 36, 43, 54, and then 2, 4, and 11 for the flowers and the berries. I just wanted to make sure that everything has a little bit of color on it. And I like to put a little bit of beige in the centers of my leaves. So now we have a little bit more stamping to do. We're going to stamp over these with a little bit darker inks. And this is where I'm going to use my Oxides, I think. I'm going to give it a shot. So let me grab those and I'll be right back. So now I'm using the Distressed Oxides. I'm using Candy Apple and Seedless Preserves. I already did one layer on that one and I accidentally didn't have it lined up properly. Well, it shifted. What else is new? And I think the other ones look really nice. You'll see it in a second when I stamp these ones. I like how that stamped image. I'm gonna take the berries off. I liked how this stamped image really put lines into that flower, and same with the bigger flower. When you use these Oxides, it really shows up. This time you definitely can. I like how that adds some shimmer and shine to it. There's some stems that I didn't work on, and some leaves that I need to work on because I didn't have, with the leaf, the first leaf, they give you just that outline of a leaf, and then they give you another leaf that's more defined. And so I'm going to use that one just because I think we need to have some more definition on the leaves. Let me nope, that's the first one to use. Let me get the leaves filled in and I'll be right back. I added in a couple of other layers and I'm going to change my colors up. And on the bigger flower, I'm going to use some picked raspberry, and hopefully that'll show up. I just want to see the definition if I can. And then I'm using abandoned coral on the other smaller one. Hopefully we'll be able to see both of those. You have all these layers, you might as well use them, right? Well, I really like that. That really shows up good. I really have a hard time lining up that flower. I'm not sure why I do, but I do. It kind of looks like it's got little hair sticking off of it. It doesn't bother me. I'm mad that I can't seem to. It doesn't bother me the look of it. I'm just mad that I can't line it up. I really like that little one though. That one really looks good. Let's put them on this one. That little one's not nearly as hard to line up as this big one is. This big one is really tricky. And I didn't think it should be because it's got the indentation at the bottom that you would think would make it so you wouldn't have that problem, but I do. Okay, so back to abandoned coral on the little one and picked raspberry on the bigger one. And then I'm going to heat set that. Put some powder on it and heat set it. I thought about putting powder on my on my flowers, but then I remembered that I was going to do the Wink of Stella on it, so I don't really need to do it. Okay. I wanted to do one last thing, and that was I wanted to take my candy apple on the berries that are kind of all over the place, but I want to just kind of put a couple dots on them to make the color look like, I can't explain it. More color, there's more dimension to them or something. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I'm trying to say. Well, I think it's time to put it together and put our Wink of Stella on it, and we'll be all done. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to line my black cardstock with some white cardstock, and that way we'll be able to write in the inside. Oh, this thing's a nightmare. I don't know why people love those. Maybe nobody does. Maybe they just use them because they don't have a choice, because they bought them and they feel like they have to use them. Do you think that's the deal? I don't know. All I can say is they're not that fun if you're a left-handed person. There's that, and then that's what it's going to look like on top. But I'm going to put some fun foam under it, and first of all I'm going to do, this is a Spectrum Noir marker. Boy, I'm looking worse as the day goes on. I am now every color of the rainbow, which is lovely. I'm going to use this, it's Spectrum Noir's version of a Wink of Stella, and it just has a lot of sparkly, I don't know what pigment, something in there. It's just sparkly. That's spreading some sparkle. I hope you can see that sparkle. Can you see that? Hopefully you can. I'm going to keep tilting it until you say you can see it. I can't hear you. Okay. I'm assuming that you can see it. So that's our front of our card. Now all we have to do is get our foam. I showed you how to do this in another video, but I'm going to show you again. Here's how you do it. If you want to make sure that your piece of foam is perfect for your card, you want to offset it. Oops. Right there, you want to take it down about, let's say, ½ inch, and then the same thing on the side. You want to be on this side, you want to offset that by ½ inch. Then you're just going to take your scissors. I'm going to hold that up, and then you're going to run around the length of the card. Yes, I know it's vibrant, but she said she liked blue, right? She's getting a blue base. There you go. So that's that. Now all we have to do is put a little of that Crazy Demon Advanced Tape Glider, ATG for short, in case you didn't know that's what this was. I don't know if it works on foam. We're going to find out in a second now, aren't we? Ooh, get on there, buddy. See if that worked. No point in doing both sides if I can't get it to stay. Then you see that it's small enough that no one else is going to see it in there. You know, it's going to be underneath enough. I think it's staying. I'm going to go with it. Oh, that whole piece did that. That didn't stick at all. Now obviously we won't be able to put my Sandy made for you by Sandy Parker stamp on the back. I mean, I could if I got a goo glob sticking there. I could if I put another piece of like white paper back there, but I don't think I'm going to do that. There it is. It's Spread the Sparkle. It's a technique where you use watercolors and make your background with watercolors, and then do layering with your stamp set. I hope that you learned something, that you give it a thumbs up. Click that subscribe button down in the bottom of the video. Tell your friends about me on social media, because you know I love that. And thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.